Have you seen the Bullseye cooling duct and wondered if it's worth all the effort? Well, today we're going to test and find out on the Ender 3 and Tevo Tornado. On my first Ender 3, I fitted the Petspang V2 cooling fan because it was all the rage at the time. On my second Ender 3 Pro, I decided I would bide my time and do a little bit more research. Since then, the Bullseye fan has come out from the same author, so I thought I'd give that one a whirl. My test rigs are the Ender 3, Tevo Tornado, and I even tried to do the Geeetech A10M, but that didn't quite go as planned. Anyway, let's get started by looking at what I designed to make the testing as objective as possible. So here's what I modelled up. It's got 5 spires, 4 around the outside with a divider so if the fan blows better from one side or the other, it captures it. The tallest spire comes the whole way up so we can see what it's like when the nozzle's in one spot for a long time, and it's got a bridge underneath. How did it look? Well, they all looked surprisingly good, so I thought I'd better redesign my part, and that brought me to my second version. Here's V2, it was inspired by the all-in-one micro 3D printer test. I've listed it as a remix source in my Thingiverse document. I've still retained my central spire, and the reason we have 4 things around the outside is to verify whether the fan blows better from one side or the other. We still have our bridge underneath as well to add to the test. Well, that's my design process, so let's get on to some printing and some back-to-back results. Here's how it turned out on the 3 printers. So we have a Tevo Tornado on the left, and it's got a 0.8mm nozzle, and therefore the lay heights are 0.5 of a millimeter. In the middle we have our Ender 3 with a standard fan, usual 0.2mm layer height for me. On the right we have the Geeetech A10M, also with 0.2mm layer height. Now all of these suffered from the same problems, and that was mainly some stringing underneath the bridge, as well as some more stringing underneath the steepest part of the overhang, which is in the region which is between 70 to 80 degrees. Just for fun, I resliced and printed on the Ender 3 with the fan turned completely off. I also turned on the setting which slows down the printing speed if the layer length is less than a certain amount of time, in this case 15 seconds. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same, the reasons of which we'll understand in a little bit. Now in my opinion, that's a pretty solid baseline for all 3 printers. The bridging underneath is pretty clean, and we don't really have any dramas until we get to the steepest part of the overhangs, around 70 or 80 degrees. Now each of these printers has the same standard solution. It's just got a little 90-degree curved section, and the wind blows down from the fan and across the bottom of the nozzle. I thought it would be worthwhile testing these by putting some water underneath to see exactly what was happening. On the Ender 3 and A10M, there's air leaking through from the extruder fan the whole time that makes the water undulate. On the Ender 3, it's hard to even know when the fan's turned on, maybe here because I have it a little bit too high. It's a little bit more obvious on the A10M. You can see it blows vaguely underneath the nozzle. If we compare this to the Tevo Tornado, where the extruder fan is not on, the water is completely still until you turn on the part cooling fan, and then we can see, although everything is moving, there's a slightly more prominent place underneath the nozzle. We've examined our baseline in a couple of ways, so time to bring on the upgrades. The first one I'm going to test is this simple ring vent designed for the Ender 3, but I also found it fitted the Tevo Tornado. It's linked below, and there are 2 versions. If you find that it's sitting down too low in line with the nozzle and hitting your print the short version, and that'll lift it up just enough to clear everything, but just make sure it's not too short and it touches and melts on your hot end. Fitting the ring vent is very straightforward. You only need to undo 2 M2 screws, and then it slides off down below. We get the new part, we slide it up from underneath, and we insert those same 2 M2 screws, and they screw back into the chassis that holds the fan around the hot end. In the link there are 2 versions. This is the standard version. As you can see, it's just the right amount of height to clear the nozzle but not touch the hot end. Unfortunately on the A10M, the geometry is different with the fan at the front, and the offsets are different, so that was the end of our testing because it didn't fit. Unfortunately, that's the A10M out of the comparison, but we'll press on with the other 2, starting by looking at how the water reacts underneath. For both the Tevo Tornado and Ender 3, the results were similar on the water test. The fan didn't seem as strong. I think the vents on the nozzle are quite small, not enough airflow can get through, but the placement is improved because it's directly underneath the nozzle. The results weren't so encouraging. Top and bottom were pretty much the same. Despite there being better directed airflow, I think it was weaker on both printers, and therefore the parts look pretty much the same. I really wanted this to work better than it did because it's so simple to print and so easy to fit, but I can't really say objectively that it's any improvement. So with that in mind, let's move on to the Bullseye. Onto the main show, the testing of the Bullseye. I didn't test the Petspang because it no longer supports the stock blower cooling fan. There are linked documents in the description which show you exactly what to print for each printer. It also tells you which way to face them and where to put support when you're preparing your model in your favorite slicing software. Installation is the same for both printers, but it's a little bit trickier than the ring vent, so let me talk you through it. Now, despite the two printers having different innards and having two different parts, I couldn't see any difference between the two parts, and the installation was pretty much exactly the same for both of them. You're going to start by disassembling everything, and then you need to insert two M3 nuts. I needed to do a little bit of cleanup to make sure they would fit. After that, you kind of maneuver everything around the hot end wires. You can see how they have a pathway down the side here. The base hooks into the right hand side and then uses two bolts to hold everything in place. There is a video linked in the description from the author of the files that shows you this in an animation. The fans need to go on here. For the Tornado, I needed M3x10 screws because the ones that came with it weren't good enough. You reuse the two M2 screws from the original blower fan and you put it onto the mount. That then slides up from underneath. There's a little channel to help you keep it aligned. And then you use some more M3x10 to lock it in place, just loosely enough that you can slide it up and down to line it up with the nozzle, and then a final tighten and you are ready to go. Time again for the comparative water test. The water test was the most promising yet. We have a much stronger surge of air and it's directly underneath the nozzle. This was evident on both the Tevo Tornado and then also the Ender 3. On the Ender 3 there was still some air leaking through from the hot end cooling fan, but definitely not as much as before. As we turn on the fan, we can see once again it's directly underneath the nozzle and more prominent than the stock fan. Now my Ender 3 is still running manual mesh bed leveling as I covered in a previous video, and that's working quite well. It did used to have a BL Touch and my Tevo Tornado still does have a BL Touch, so let me run you through the extra steps that you need if you've got one of these sensors in place. The BL Touch mount is modular and adjustable, so you shouldn't need any spacing washers. Once you've screwed the sensor in place, simply take out the left-hand mounting bolt and put the new mount through there. Check that everything is clear and works before you start a print, and don't forget that you'll probably need to redo your Z offset. So start a test print where you can set that accurately. You'll also need to update your firmware with X-48, Y-10 if you're using the same modular mount as me. Time to examine our final results, and they were mixed but definitely interesting. Onto results, and on the Tevo Tornado with my much bigger nozzle and much bigger layer height, pretty much no change. I think I need to change to a 50-15 larger blower style fan to have any effect with the added plastic that I'm extruding. It just needs more cooling. For some reason on the Ender 3, the nozzle kept on knocking off the towers. Now it is meant to be a torture test, but it made back-to-back comparisons very difficult, so I knew I needed to do some additional steps. I tried printing at double the size on both printers with the same result on each. Unfortunately, I just wasted a whole bunch of time and plastic. I knew there had to be a better way, so I made a very slight revision to my file. I added a 4mm chamfer. I figured all the bits that were important were either below or far above this, so it wouldn't compromise the results. Finally, I could see some improvement. From the top, it looks like it pretty much hasn't changed, but when we flip it underneath, we can see improved performance on the bridging as well as the overhangs. Stringing on the underside is restricted only when it gets the full way to 80 degrees, so 70-degree overhangs is a massive plus. My conclusion, well, I'd have to say the ring vent is probably not worth fitting. Yes, it directs the air better, but it restricts the airflow to the point where that's not really advantageous. The Bullseye on most printers I think is going to be very worthwhile. It didn't work so well on my Tevo Tornado because I'm extruding such thicker parts of plastic with the larger nozzle, so therefore I need more cooling power. For any printer, if you're going to run one of the bigger 50-15 style blower fans, you definitely need to do something like this to fit it in the first place, so you might as well go with this design. One advantage I haven't discussed so far is the extra visibility of the nozzle. It's much easier to see what you're doing when you're tuning in your Z offset or leveling your bed. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you can appreciate the amount of design and printing I did to make this as objective and useful for you as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment below if you use this design or if there's another one that you prefer. And until next time, happy 3D printing. G'day, it's Michael again. If you liked the video, then please click like. If you want to see more content like this in future, click subscribe and make sure you click on the bell to receive every notification. If you really want to support the channel and see exclusive content, become a patron. Visit my Patreon page. See you next time.